Every night while you sleep, your body should be rebuilding your muscles. That is basic biology. The problem is that after 50, this process begins to fail, and most people don't even notice. The weakness in your legs when you stand up, the difficulty carrying weight, that feeling that your body just doesn't respond anymore. It's not age, it's a lack of raw material at the right time. And there is one specific factor that very few people know about, one that actively works during the night, destroying your muscle fibers. I will get to it, but first let me introduce myself quickly. I am Dr. Thomas Ellsworth, and muscular health in adults over 50 is a topic I have been following closely for a long time. If you are not yet subscribed to this channel, go ahead and subscribe. We talk about things that truly make a difference in everyday life. Now, let's get to what matters. There is a technical name for what is happening to your muscles. It is called sarcopenia. And contrary to what most people think, it is not an inevitable destination. It is a process. It's a process that can be slowed down and in many cases reversed. Sarcopenia is not just lack of exercise. It is not only genetics. It is, in most cases, a lack of nutrients at the right time. The body needs raw material to rebuild what was worn down during the day. And this reconstruction happens mainly during deep sleep, the phase specialists call N3. That is where muscle micro tears are repaired. That is where fibers grow stronger. But if the body does not have what it needs at that moment, it looks for energy somewhere else, and that somewhere else is your own muscles. Have you ever woken up with muscle soreness without having done any effort the day before? Have you ever felt that stiffness early in the morning as if your body had locked up overnight? That may be exactly this process happening. The body, without adequate fuel, enters a state that scientists call muscle proteolysis, the breakdown of fibers to generate energy. And it does this while you sleep, without you feeling a thing. Now, what are the factors that accelerate this process? There are 5, and I need you to pay close attention to each one of them, because you are probably making at least one of these mistakes right now. The first is protein at the wrong time. Most people concentrate all their protein intake at lunch, a good amount of meat, eggs, beans, and at night they eat only carbohydrates, bread, pasta, rice. This seems harmless, but it is a strategic mistake. The Journal of Nutrition published a study with adults over 55 showing that protein intake before sleep increases nighttime muscle protein synthesis by 22%. That is significant. And most people simply do not do this. The second factor is chronic inflammation. Researchers at the Harvard School of Public Health demonstrated that low-grade inflammation, the kind you don't even feel but that is present, directly interferes with protein synthesis. If you wake up with pain, stiffness, a feeling of bloating, your body is in an inflammatory state, and inflamed muscles do not rebuild well. They regress. The third is fragmented sleep. Without deep sleep, without reconstruction, simple as that. If you wake up several times during the night, if you have difficulty entering deep sleep, the muscle repair process is compromised, no matter how much you exercise during the day. The fourth factor is the lack of specific minerals. Magnesium and potassium are essential for muscle contraction and relaxation. The deficiency of these 2 minerals is directly linked to nighttime cramps, weakness, and mass loss. And most people over 50 are deficient in at least one of them without even knowing it. And the fifth factor, the number 1 villain, I will reveal next, because it is what ties everything together. It is the central mechanism that, when activated during the night, amplifies all 4 other factors at the same time. Have you ever suspected something was happening during your sleep? That the weakness you feel in the morning was not just tiredness, tell us in the comments. The number one villain is cortisol. You have probably heard of it as the stress hormone. And that is exactly what it is. But what few people know is that cortisol has a specific behavior during the night. Under normal conditions, it rises gradually in the early morning hours to wake you up with energy. That is healthy functioning. The problem begins when it rises too early, when it spikes during deep sleep. And why does this happen? There are clear triggers. Caffeine consumed after 3 in the afternoon keeps cortisol elevated for hours afterward. Eating too light at dinner, for skipping dinner altogether, signals to the body a state of scarcity. And when the body interprets scarcity, it releases cortisol to find energy. And where does it find that energy? In your muscle fibers. It is a process called proteolysis. Cortisol literally instructs the body to break down muscle and convert it into glucose. This is documented. It is not theory. It is biochemistry. And here is the mistake that Walter made every day without realizing it. Walter was 63 years old, ate well during the day, walked 3 times a week, but he had an early, light dinner and ate nothing before bed. He thought he was doing the right thing. He woke up every day with heavy legs, difficulty getting out of bed, that feeling that his body hadn't truly rested. Then he changed just one thing in his nighttime routine. One simple thing, and in less than 3 weeks, the difference was already noticeable. That one simple thing is the nighttime regeneration oatmeal. Before I give you the full recipe, I need you to understand why each ingredient is there, because this is not just any oatmeal. Each component was chosen for a specific biological function. And the order of preparation matters just as much as the ingredients themselves. The base is oats. When cooked over low heat in milk, oats release a fiber called beta-glucan. This fiber has proven anti-inflammatory properties. It slows down carbohydrate absorption, prevents blood sugar spikes during the night, and creates a metabolic environment more favorable to protein synthesis. High heat destroys part of these properties. Low heat preserves them. The second component is chia, or flaxseed. And here is a detail most people overlook. They need to be hydrated for at least 5 minutes before being added to the preparation. This process forms a gel around the seed. That gel further slows absorption, stabilizes blood sugar, and prolongs the feeling of fullness overnight. Without prior hydration, you lose much of this effect. The third element is fruit or honey. Banana is an excellent choice for its potassium, one of the minerals I mentioned earlier, essential for muscle relaxation and preventing nighttime cramps. Natural honey, on the other hand, plays a different role. A study published in the Nutrients Journal in 2023 demonstrated that honey stabilizes blood sugar and reduces nighttime awakenings. That means deeper sleep. And deeper sleep means more time in the M3 phase, exactly where muscle reconstruction happens. Now comes the heart of the oatmeal, the protein, whey protein, plant-based protein, or hydrolyzed collagen. Any of the 3 works, but there is one rule that cannot be broken. The protein only goes in after the heat is completely off. Heat denatures protein. It alters its molecular structure in a way that significantly reduces absorption. You add it, mix well, and it is ready. Finally, finish with a pinch of cinnamon and a teaspoon of unsweetened cocoa powder. Cinnamon contains a compound called cinnamaldehyde, which improves insulin sensitivity and helps control blood sugar during the night. Cocoa improves peripheral circulation, which supports nutrient delivery to muscle fibers during sleep. Both together create a metabolic environment that amplifies everything the other ingredients are already doing. And there is one detail about timing that changes everything. This oatmeal needs to be consumed 60 minutes before bed, not 20 minutes, not right before closing your eyes. 60 minutes, that is the time needed for the nutrients to begin being absorbed and be available exactly when deep sleep starts. It is a nighttime metabolic window, and most people never knew it existed. Now, the complete step-by-step, from start to finish, no complications. First, measure half a cup of rolled oats. Place in milk, whole milk, almond milk, oat milk, whatever you already use. Bring to low heat, stir slowly, no rush. The goal is to release the beta-glucan without destroying it. When the oats start to thicken, it is ready. While the oats cook, hydrate 1 tablespoon of chia or flaxseed in a little water. 5 minutes are enough to form the gel. Then incorporate it into the oatmeal while still on the heat. Stir well to distribute evenly. Next, add the mashed banana or a teaspoon of honey. If you choose the banana, mash it well beforehand so it dissolves into the mixture. If you choose honey, add it after the heat is off. Heat can reduce some of its active properties. Now turn off the heat completely. Let the oatmeal cool down slightly for about 2 minutes is enough. Then add the protein. 1 scoop of whey, 1 tablespoon of plant protein, or 1 tablespoon of hydrolyzed collagen. Stir gently until fully dissolved. This is the most important moment of the preparation. The protein cannot go in while it is hot. Finally, finish with a pinch of cinnamon and a teaspoon of cocoa powder. Stir one more time. It is ready, simple, no special equipment, no hard-to-find ingredients, no complications. Eat it 60 minutes before bed. Every day, consistency is what transforms this oatmeal from an interesting recipe into a real muscle recovery tool. One night changes nothing. 3 weeks of consistency changes quite a lot. And there is something you need to do alongside this, which amplifies everything. Cut caffeine after 3 in the afternoon. Coffee, black tea, soda. Any source of caffeine after that time keeps cortisol elevated into the night, and that sabotages exactly what the oatmeal is trying to build. You do not have to give up coffee. You just need to respect the timing. Another important point, do not skip dinner thinking you are being healthy. Prolonged fasting before bed is a cortisol trigger. The body interprets the absence of nutrients as scarcity and enters preservation mode, which includes breaking down muscle to generate energy. The oatmeal does not replace dinner. It complements it. It is the last meal of the day, strategically positioned to protect what you have built. Now, one thing I want to make clear, this protocol is not a promise of overnight transformation. The human body has its own rhythm. But the science is consistent, providing the right nutrients at the right time in the right metabolic environment that changes the outcome of sleep in a measurable way. It is not opinion. It is documented. The weakness you feel does not need to be accepted as part of life. The difficulty standing up from a chair, the lack of strength in your legs, the fatigue that shows up without reason, all of this has a biological cause. And biological causes respond to biological interventions, sometimes simple ones. What changes is not just physical strength. It is autonomy. It is waking up in the morning and feeling that your body is on your side, not working against you. It is climbing stairs without thinking twice. It is carrying a bag without needing help. These things seem small. But for those who have lost them, they know exactly how much they are missed. Take care of your sleep the way you take care of your diet. Because at night, while you sleep, your body is working. The question is, does it have what it needs to work in your favor? Tell me in the comments, had you ever heard of nighttime cortisol as an enemy of your muscles? And the oatmeal, were any of these ingredients already part of your routine? If this content made sense to you, leave a like, share it with someone who needs to see this, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. That helps the channel keep bringing content like this.